So let's say you've never seen the movie. Now, if you've seen the movie Transformers, if you've seen Old Yeller, if you've seen Independence Day, in a matter of a few seconds, you can kind of see that movie in your head. That's the way, once the data is there. So they can present something like that much data on one coin, like Transformers, and immediately you would know the movie, you would know the emotions of it, you would know who the actors are, the theme, from the beginning to the end. So that's what that stuff was leading up to. So there was a couple of things that led to an experience that, I should mention this too, what was going on in those days. I also figured in those early months, and particularly within those first 18 months, as being the biggest hell of the 6 years of me trying to avoid these guys or to get away from these beings. For example, I would go to major cities, and I would go downtown, and I would check out a hotel that was 15, 20 stories, and I'd get in the middle of it thinking they couldn't pull me. They would pull me. I would drive hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles from state to state to state to try and get away from these guys. They would pull me. So there was really no escaping. To inevitably, it came to the point where I abandoned my home in Texas, and I went down to Fort Myers Beach, Florida, which was a sterile island where I grew up, to see if I can get away from them that way, and of course, no, they still pulled me. So I was doing everything I could to get away, and in my heart, mind, and soul, all I ever wanted to do was kill them. Okay, so this alphabet developed into something interesting, because I also know that it's the basic foundation for also telepathic communication. So there's a lot of fascinating things about that alphabet that was force learned into me. Still seeing no real rhyme or reason, I felt a little better about understanding something at that point, but I still wanted to get rid of these guys. So certain events led to my newfound freedom with them, which took about 6 years, between 6 and 7 years, which was two stories that I'm going to share with you that took place that led to that. One was, there they pulled me. I was in the same stupid place, sitting in the same stupid bench. But this time there was on the table, the screen table, there was an ant, at least an inch or maybe an inch and a half long, a rather large ant. Clearly you could see it. And you could see that they created some kind of field, like a circle, where the ant was trying to walk, but like he would bump into something, but it was invisible, as if somebody stuck a jar on top of it. And then the instructions were to sketch the symbol for kill, and the ant would die, which was something like that, which was that. And so I said, no, I'm not killing nothing for you. And then again, sketch the symbol for kill. I said no. The air pressure increased in the room, the pain in my ears. And they kept going level after level after level, and I was taking more pain than I ever did, and I just went, no, I'm not going to do it. And then they projected a hologram of my brother, and it looked like he was in a hospital, in the bed, clutching his heart as if he was having some kind of a heart attack. So now the message was, if you don't sketch this, harm is going to come to your family. So I then didn't want that to happen, so I sketched the symbol for kill. The ant balled up and died. And then I wept. And I'm going, why are you guys doing this to me? What is the point behind all of this? What I didn't realize was they were about to turn me loose, and they were using different methods to see how far I would be pushed if I would actually kill these guys. In other words, if I was free, would I kill them and tear up the ship, bottom line. But again, they didn't give me any warning. After that event, that's when I was dead lock stocked to kill one. And during the course of all of this, these things would come into my home, walk around the house as if to observe the laboratory rat's natural environment. So if you can imagine yourself sitting in the sofa, here these things come through the wall, they're walking around, they do whatever they do while all this stuff is going on board. So I went to the gun shop, and I bought a .357 Magnum. And now imagine a guy that looks like the last days of Howard Hughes going into a gun shop buying a .357 Magnum. Yeah, there shouldn't be any gun laws. I'm okay. All right, and so I buy this pistol, and then I stop at the liquor store, and I bought a fifth of vodka, and because I'm going to kill one of these guys, right? So I got to drink my courage. So I go back to my place, and I'm sitting on the easy chair, and I've got the gun in one hand, and I got the vodka in the other, and I'm just drinking the vodka. And that was an evening where they had decided to do a home visit, and I could hear the noise on the roof and in the attic, so I knew that would start that. And two of them came through, and we're walking around in the house, and one walked in front of me as I'm sitting on the easy chair. He faced me, and he turned his back, and he started fumbling with the television set. So I took the pistol, and I cocked it right to the back of his head. And I took a sip of the vodka again, and I took the pistol, and I cocked it right to the back of his head. And I said, and I would yell lots of neat things out at these guys. I said, you come a godzillion miles. You're so smart with all this tech. You think you're so smart with your technology, and you're so stupid you can't even turn on a TV, and I'm going to kill you. And I pointed that pistol, and I could not pull that trigger. I could not make myself do it. I put the gun down, and he turned around and telepathically said, we know you're not a killer. And so now here I go, bawling and crying again. Here's this grown man, you know, like, I don't understand what's wrong with me, and why don't I kill one of these guys? So then there was something that led. See, what this led up to was an experience which turned up the whole situation around with interaction with these things, and I started to see something. Now, there was another thing that led up to that point, and then I'll get into that story, which was things started changing when I would get abducted. Now, you must know that during every abduction, we have to extract semen. Okay, we have to do that. That's a must. However, on one particular occasion, I was on a gurney, and what they would do to screen image that scenario would be to, but I was laying on the gurney, but I had some ability to move, which was rather rare. And what they would do is a screen image to make you comfortable when they would do that procedure. And in this case, I felt like I was laying on a bed. I was leaning up on like one of those instamatics, I guess they call them, whatever they're called, craftomatics, whatever you're, I'm not dubbing the name for a company, but you would be like at a 45-degree angle. And then into the room come two very attractive women. Gee, they don't do screening imaging because these girls looked exactly like what I would think would be perfect or anybody else would be. So here they come walking into the room, and I'm laying on this gurney, and one of them starts playing with my hair, and the other one says, oh, gee, my, isn't he handsome? Well, I knew that was a lie, and I shook off that screen image, and when I shook it off, the women went blink, blink, disappeared, and here I was on this metal gurney. There was a worker beam on my right, there was a worker beam on my left, there was a gray, which had this apparatus on my groin, and I responded by, like a knee jerk, and I just shoved him with my foot, and I kicked him back. And he fell back, and I said, oh my God, what's he going to do now? He gets up, and he comes really fast, right up to my face, just like an inch to my face, and I'll never forget those eyes, and I'll never forget that face being that close. He transmitted 100 thoughts, approximately, and 100 emotions in a second. If I can slow them down, they went just like this. Why did you kick me? You know you shouldn't kick me. It's bad to kick me. I could hurt you. I can do a lot of harm to you. You shouldn't kick me. And you get all the emotions of each one of those things, only he did it within a second, and it just went, and I couldn't handle all of that, and I just passed out. Okay, so now I'm getting a little mobility on board, and what's the first thing I do? I kick them. Okay. Now I get another abduction where this one was extremely unusual, and all this is towards the end of the 6